Well, I think I come back to my original answer. I approach it as music, not as Bach or Mozart or Beethoven or Brahms. Um, we don't need to make those composers different by what we do to them, by saying Bach is this way, Mozart is this way, Beethoven is this way, Brahms is that way. We don't have to even think that way, in my view. As a matter of fact, I've come to think that that is really antithetical to music making. And it's dangerous for the very reason that you allude to, that we hear so much just mechanical Bach playing because people think Bach is supposed to be that way. And people often think that Mozart should be very dry. And so you sometimes hear that. And I was teaching that very piece one time, and I said to try to get the student to play it with a little flexibility and a little bit of pedal, maybe some hand pedal, and to take a little time before that wonderful E natural. Amazing that there can be an E natural in the first measure of a piece in B flat major, to appreciate the poignancy of that intrusion of a note from outside the scale. And he said, "Oh, I didn't know you were allowed to do that in classical music." And of course, there you have it. He had a well-meaning teacher who, wanting to do the right thing, taught him what the correct way to play Mozart was, which was dryly and in time, no rubato. So I think when we think too much about the correct style, we put the composers in boxes in which they never belonged and never felt themselves belonging. Of course, Mozart knew he was different from Bach. Composers are aware that they're going in different directions and writing in different ways as musical language evolves. But they never, I think, thought, okay, now I'm classical, so I can't be expressive. If I were born 20 years or 30 years later, then I could be romantic and be expressive. But I'm classical, so I can't be expressive. Or I'm Baroque, so I can't have dynamics because my main instrument is the harpsichord. Well, I just think that's limiting and wrong thinking. Bach will never sound like Chopin because his musical language is different. Chopin will never sound like Bach, although he loved Bach because they were both very kind of ornamental writers, lots of embellishments, lots of florid melodic language, lots of improvisational aspects. So I think if we approach the music on its own terms, we will discover what it needs from us. People often ask, can you talk about the Brahms sound? Well, no, I can't talk about the Brahms sound. Is this the Brahms sound? Or is this the... Well, they're both Brahms, but they're completely different because he was writing a different character one day or the other day. Is this the Beethoven sound? Or is it the Schubert sound? Well, it sounds a lot like Schubert, but it's Beethoven. Or is this the Beethoven sound? Well, they're both the Beethoven sound on different days and in different moods. The problem comes when, for example, Mozart writes in a language that had a direct influence on Beethoven. Dramatic, stormy. So that's Mozart in C minor, which, as we know, became Beethoven's favorite key for drama. The problem comes when, because it's by Mozart, people play it light and almost cutely, because Mozart is not supposed to be full-bodied and dramatic. Well, tell that to Don Giovanni or the G minor symphony. Uh, most composers have a big expressive range, in my opinion, but their language is different. Their resources are different. So if one is open to what the particular piece is saying and doing, the textures, the registers, uh, the harmonies, whether it's a full-bodied sound or melody and accompaniment, I think the interpretation will grow out of that rather than preconceived notions about what is the correct style. So I've become a kind of anti-style teacher. I want to get at the essence of each piece of music and try to make students comfortable trusting their judgment, not looking for the correct answers of how it's supposed to be, and not going to YouTube to find out how the piece that their teacher just assigned them is supposed to be played.